On today's episode, we'll be getting to know Vector the Viper, a Nigerian hip-hop artist. With over a decade in the game, Vector has 3 studio albums, collaborations with D'banj, Nice, Tubaba, Movado, and many more. He reigns as the voice of Sprite in Nigeria. He is the creative director and class master for the Cognac Hennessy in Nigeria, and has also left a mark in the African hip-hop scene for having the longest freestyle in Africa on radio with over 1 million downloads. Welcome, Vector the Viper. So how are you?
I'm blessed. How are you, B?
I am blessed, thank you. I am very, very blessed. How's your day been so far?
Except for buying a unicorn for my daughter and buying sparkle dust or fairy dust or whatever. Yeah, so I look a bit glittery, yeah. Yeah.
It's been good, yeah?
I'm good.
Okay. So the name Vector the Viper, talk to us about that. Because I know in like maths and physics, a vector refers to like a space that has magnitude and direction, yeah? But with regards to you, what does a vector mean to you? Like why the name?
Magnitude and direction, baby.
Yeah?
So, yes.
So when they think about you,
like it's yes, magnitude and direction. You want something that is directed with power. Yeah, and the Viper is just ironically vectors from biology. It's weird.
Unique. So
yeah.
I want to know, like, what is the genesis of your love for music and your journey in music?
I can't say because my parents used to play. Like, I guess one of the reasons why you can't really place me till today would be the taste of music. My parents, it was all here. It was all over. It was either Elton John or Michael Jackson or Phil Collins or Orituliki or Kwamwan or Orlando or like it was just a bunch of stuff. So I grew up on like a very, very dynamic range of music. So that I wouldn't say this is when it started. I just kind of like picked it up. But I remember the first time I joined the choir though, it was my sister.
Yeah.
So let's say the only proof I have is my sister leading me to the choir. She just told me, when I say this harmony, you say this harmony. And I said it and I didn't flinch. Like, she was like, oh, you can hold harmonies. Ah, okay, you have a future in music.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's it. I started to go to the choir. I started to play music in the choir. Then I started to play around with rap in the choir. But because it was a white garment church, they necessarily didn't subscribe to that form of music. So they just cheered me on like the kid, like, you see like 4 microphones. Hey, say rap.
I used to go to a white garment church. CNS.
You used to?
CNS. I used to go.
My aunt goes to CNS. I go to Celestial Church.
Yeah. I heard that Sele is like basically more stricter than CNS. And Sele, you only wear the square neck. Whereas CNS, we can have different arrays of shine and all of these things on our white garment.
It's real. Like I grew up just watching things. Like, for example, it also didn't make sense to me why they beat kids at Sunday school. So I was there in a dilemma, like, okay, this is so nice. Oh my God, this is no, right? So I was just observing. But because my dad was a very popular person in church, they didn't beat me in Sunday school. You know what I mean? But like, it didn't make sense watching other kids like suffer that fate. It was a bit weird for me. But mostly it was very humanistic for me. Like just watching how everybody played with each other. It was it was a very neutral ground.
Yeah. And you said that you started in the choir when your sister said, come and do a harmony, yeah? Why did you decide to delve into hip hop and rap?
The best form of expression for me had to be rap. I wasn't a kid who cried a lot. I wasn't a kid who was interested in... I was a very angry kid. Like, because like I said to you, there was a lot of dilemma going on. I'm like, okay, for example, you are Yoruba. Why must the elders always be right even when they are lying?
Wrong. Like dead ass wrong. Yeah, we will still have to kneel down. We will still have to say yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and my binu, this and that. When you're wrong, bro, allow it.
Yeah, as the guy. Yeah. So it was I wasn't a very emotionally expressive kid. Plus I grew up in the barracks and my dad was a mobile police officer. And we know the regular police, which is normal. But then again, once you're a mopo now the closest thing to army, right? So it was a very it was a very tough love type of upbringing for me. So it was easy for me to express myself in words that were quite okay, like in an art form that allowed anger, so to speak, the rap way. So I was pretty much that kid. And I guess I like it. I can sing way more than a lot of people though.
Yeah, man, like.
Yeah, like a
Man,
bunch of
like.
guys, you're like, you did sing, I sing with this, don't worry now. I got you.
And
Yeah.
speaking about rapping and singing, yeah, how do you feel? Because I've noticed this a lot with many rappers that can sing, but how do you feel when people attempt to devalue the artistry of a rapper when he decides to sing a hook or, you know, this whole like singing thing that they do? How do you feel when they devalue the artistry of the rapper?
I've like all my career until I came up with Afrobeats, I was not at rest with showing my skill or exhibiting talent because it didn't make sense to me. You grew up in a white garment church, you know how very musical we could be. So do I dump that because it is sissy in the rap world and just be all gangster about guns that even in the real world, it's bad for the society? Like, you get what I mean? So when I hear people like try to talk down the strength of a rapper because he has good vocals or he can sing or he knows melodies, in my head I'm like, I don't understand. It's a gift that he also has. In the world of art, there are no partitionings or no segregations as to what is the preference of dope. Dope is dope. So if it's rap and it's rhythm and poetry, then it's rhythm and poetry. But if he can sing, let him sing. Like, it's the problem would be if he's now singing and he doesn't know how to sing.
And he's using auto-tune and reverb and packaging.
Yeah. Like, I have records that I didn't use auto-tune for. It's a bit distracting for me. Like, you want people to be rappers, but you don't, and you want them to be real, right?
Yeah.
You think the dopest rappers are the realest rappers. But then again, is it not a reality that he can sing as well?
It sure is. Most definitely is. So
That's
I
pretty
think
much
rappers and singers, you guys can do whatever you're skilled at, do it. Like, there shouldn't be any marginalizing or anything being frowned upon just because you can rap and you can sing. I think it's dope. If I could rap and sing, I don't think I'll be talking. I feel like God didn't give me the gift of singing because he knew I'll be a nuisance. I'd be like, hello, I'm Bissy. I wouldn't talk. Wallahi, I would not speak. But having been in the game for, I feel like it's over a decade now, yeah? How has the industry evolved?
Yeah.
And where do you see it going?
The industry evolves at the same pace with human evolution, right? So whatever is right now that's cool, but it's better now. Like, I happen to be of the era where you do big numbers on checks with endorsements. At a point it wasn't that, but now, although I also happen to be of the era where if you like get 10 million naira in a check, right? The economy is so fucked up that it's almost as though you didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
Like, so I say, like, just thinking about that knocks me off a lot of times. But the evolution of man in the Nigerian space, for example, is not a lot to write home about. So the evolution is just there. Like, there's a lot more money being made, but then again, what's the value of money now? So, but that's one side. On the level of the music expression, I feel there's more expression tied to music now over just over the most recent past. the King Sonia days, there was a lot of expression,
Yeah.
right? But I dare say it was a bit cocky with our elderly advice, right? But that has, if whatever that evolved into dance, and at the point nobody wanted to do anything but dance in Nigeria, somehow, some way, the coronavirus has kind of like kept everybody at home, has stopped everybody from making money at least for a little bit. So, if there's going to be value placed on every penny spent on music, for example, evolution has happened to music then in the industry because
Yeah.
people now check what they put every cover on musically, well, side by side with every other thing they feel is essential to have. So the evolution is been what it is. Is grown. Um, and at this point, I guess we're at the point where we're being nominated directly at a shorter space for the Grammys now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a record with Mavado, I've had with Two Face, I've had with Nice. Like, um, it's just something that used to be television value before. Now
Yeah.
it's handshake value as well. So the evolution is great. It can be better. It's once you're just blessed and you're grateful, you'll be fine.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like in this short space of time you've spoken and touched on many things. And it seems as if you are a man of character, a man of substance, and like very multifaceted. So I want to talk to you about things that are happening in Nigeria and get your perspective on it. Yeah. So healthcare in Nigeria. I watched the interview where you said that your sister has sickle cell. Yeah. How
Yes.
has that affected you in any way? How have you dealt with it? And do you feel like the healthcare in Nigeria is adequate enough and the people are educated enough on the matter?
Before you finish the question, no, now, but you know the answer already.
Mm.
Um, healthcare in Nigeria is trash. It's trash if you check how rich we are as a country and how hardworking we are as a people.
People.
But like, it's just trash. Like, there's no, you know how when we spoke about the evolution of the industry, I was like, okay, like this one, don't worry, on any level of argument is trash, right? Because I've had a friend who I don't know how critical asthma attack can be all over the world, but in my head, I'm thinking it should be one of the most controllable situations.
Yeah.
In a hospital. I'm no expert, so I apologize if I will offend anybody by such an utterance. But I want to believe that my guy died. Like, a producer of mine died because he had an asthma attack and he couldn't be attended to early. I was still talking to somebody about the idea that I was relating gangsterism in the Western world and in Africa, and I'm saying, I don't know what you're talking about. My life is more gangster than your life. At least if they shoot you, you can be treated well now. I mean, if they stab you, they can take care of you now. Before they go get police reports, you don't die. But that is also the reality of what we are. So, if you ask me, the people also are not aware enough on the level of what they deserve as a people, especially as a people that people come to their shops every day and say, you have not paid this fine. Once like they do that every day in Nigeria. I grew up in the barracks. Yes, my mom has had to do, well, not too much, but I can see people dealing with that. Like, oh, we're from Lagos State. You have not paid this one. All that money people are paying is what is responsible for the good results you get when you seek healthcare. So on the level of whether our people are aware enough, no, they're not. Is the healthcare system lax about it? Oh yeah, they are super lax. The lax has an S on its chest with blue tights and red cape.
It's mad.
They're just chilling.
Yo.
But that's where our music has to also evolve from and into something where we have to start to address this just level of awareness in every interesting dynamic way. Let's just do something.
And you spoke earlier about like your pops being in like the police forces, right? So
yeah.
Recently I saw a story about a young 20-year-old boy who was shot innocently by the armed forces and the police in Nigeria. And we see the echoing of police brutality all over the world. And social media amplifies it specifically in the US. But what's it like? Like, what is the reality of Nigerian forces and police officers? Like, how is that? I've interviewed a couple people, and
Okay.
I'll ask them like a game. Have you ever been in trouble with the police? And the common answer is, when you're in Nigeria, of course. Like, what is that reality like?
Yes, now.
See, you said the same thing.
Yes, now. Okay, so let's not be condescending on the country. I've met good police officers, but it is not a lie that police officers in Africa kill Black kids in Africa for no reason. Like, I can understand racism where it's a white cop on a Black kid crime. Like, it doesn't make sense, but I can understand why, like, okay, what I've been told over the years, over my existence, as the reason why this is happening. Yoruba is Yoruba, you're Black is Black. Like, which one we say it's comfortable for you to pull the trigger at a man who's not even armed, right? And I dare not sugarcoat anything, because you don't know where the change is going to affect itself from. But do we have good officers? Yes. But I also grew up in the barracks. On the side of the police officers, the level of dilapidation and wretched lifestyle in the barracks is nothing to write home about. And as such, I do not expect anybody that lives within such conditions to even think appropriately. So I am the guy that I feel the anxiety when there's a police checkpoint on the road. I'm like, God damn, police again. Like, any way they will waste your time, right? I've had a police officer in Nigeria tell me, you drive a Benz, my bullets are faster. Huh?
Wait, he said that to you?
Yeah. I've seen footage of police brutality on Nigerian young people. So the situation is crazy. Not that they are all bad cops. There are good police officers in Nigeria. But Nigeria itself, like, don't you understand? Nigeria itself is losing the attention of Nigerians at a very serious time, like the COVID-19 time.
Yeah.
So don't expect the forces to be any better, because, yeah, I also went to Maiduguri where the soldiers are fighting against Boko Haram. I was with them, like, at their base. And I'm also very aware, we're adrenaline junkies like that, myself and my brother. Like, yeah.
Mad.
And it was weird, but that also gave me reason to believe more in sacrifice of the country or for the country, because I saw people ready to die for something that a lot of us don't value so much because we think it's trash. So another dilemma, like, oh, nothing is happening in Nigeria, it's so crappy, but then these guys are dying every day. That should be worth it. So it's a little bit of both. I guess at this point, it's solely dependent on the individuals and how they want to affect things or how they want to influence things. Bearing in mind that nobody's perfect or nobody's always right, but just I can break down a lot of things I'm unhappy about, but then again, in that same breath, I remember the soldiers that are dying at the trenches. And I'm like, me, I'm alive now. At least I'm alive enough to complain. There are guys who know they might die today.
Yeah.
And I should be proud of where I am because I have those people at least.
And they're defending you, yeah.
Boom.
I love that. And I want to speak about, you spoke about earlier in terms of just like, there's a lot of money in terms of, music, the entertainment industry, yeah. So I want to speak about education and the economy. Just since it's like, I, for one, personally, I can't speak for the education system because I didn't school in Nigeria. I've never lived in Nigeria. I was born and bred in London, went to school out here and all of this stuff, yeah? But I've noticed that there has been a surge, like a huge increase in terms of the interest of everybody in the African culture, the entertainment, and the music. Yeah. And I believe that it will be kind of like a snowball effect in terms of like feeding money into the economy. Do you feel like that the economy should invest in the education of teaching arts, of music, of acting, or whatever you call it, in school?
Of course, yes, no. There people study music in school. Like when I was in university, guys studied music. So let's not act like we're barbaric to the point where we don't have music being taught or learned. We have that. I just feel like in general, education in Africa can be more pro-African, not just in praising, not just in praising heroes that are of African descent. You get what I mean? But like, just also bearing in mind what the African consciousness is, even with every other subject that is being learned or taught.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to be able to infuse that. Like, the greatest story that I can remember of rebellion and human rights activism is that of Fela. How he's not being taught in school, I don't understand.
Wow.
But then they will tell us about all the other great Westerners that were bad too, that were involved in wars and takeover plans and schemes, but they won't tell you about Fela. Somebody that believed in something stronger than his mother's death. If there is any value in resilience, it should be that. If there's any value in loyalty to craft, it should be that. If there's any value in strength of one man, which is what everybody needs to get out of the dark moments, it should be that. So in my head, what we should be teaching, or how we can revamp education, is in the total valuing of the African self.
Yeah. Understanding the power that we hold.
Yeah, because you are in England, every time I'm in the US, and because I always stay with family when I'm in the US, and friends that have become family. There was a time where someone was being scolded, and her mom said to her, she's young, she's not even a teenager yet. And her mom says to her, "How can your teacher be calling me and be asking me whether you are truly Nigerian?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" And she was like, "Yeah, because it's the norm that Nigerian kids are usually intelligent."
Yeah.
Right?
We are excellent.
Yes, we are excellent. So what else would furthermore build the excellence, but on a patriotic level, if at the foundation of the learning is people like you and I, or are people like you and I that are Nigerian?
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua is Nigerian, that's cool. But before him, there was Rashidi Yekini, there was Taribo West, there was Sunday Lise, there was Amokachi, there was Kanu Wankwo, there was Mutiu Adikpoju, there was Garba Lawal. On all the major ethnicities that are represented in Nigeria, we've had heroes in the past, even in sports, in music. I feel like the moment we start to buy the African, like, and not just that, there's Yusundo, there's Miriam Makeba. We know about Nelson Mandela. It would be nice for us to know about Gani Fawehinmi now. He's about to wallow away in thoughts because but I don't know. I'm not in school anymore, so I don't know what the references are. But I feel like the way forward in education in Africa is to prepare the African mind towards understand. It's like Dubai. Dubai has adapted westernization but kept its core and architecture.
That is a perfect analogy that you could have given. Perfect.
Yeah. Like advance, but retain the self.
Retain self. And self is so important for so many things. And we could talk about self a little bit later, but let me bring it back to you, yeah? What is your creative process like? Like in terms of your musical content, your lyrical content, your sound that you produce, what are the most important factors that contribute to the sound that is you?
I wanted to be Western before, but at a point I started to think for myself. So yeah, this is merging it. Like I wanted to be West. Like I was watching the life. I was watching TV. I like Tupac. I like Biggie. I like Jay-Z. I like Lil Wayne. Okay, this is dope. Like Eminem, man, not bad. Like I wanted to be that, and that was like the foundation I I I advanced upon. Um, but of recent, I'm like, wait, oh, there's no hard, there's no life harder than the one that I'm living now. If I compare it to even to rap herself. Because a friend of mine was on live with the game, and the game was saying to him, like, yo, every time I'm in Africa, I feel like I'm not a real nigga.
What? That is a bar. You should create a whole album about that. Yo.
Oh no, right now. The first time I saw Kirk Franklin in Nigeria, he looked very light skinned. He was yellow. I'm like, you're not black now.
Mad.
Yeah, I mean, even though he's black, right? But I'm saying in Nigeria, he's yellow.
Yeah.
But in America, he's black.
He's black.
Right? So
yeah.
My reality started to dawn on me upon meeting these guys or meeting new things. And I'm like, wait, though. Okay, so instead of be influenced so much by my hopes to do stuff at the Big Apple, which is New York, I am in Lagos already now, which is New York. So my life started to influence my music, like things that were real to me. And it happened early in my career too. I remember then somebody wanted to feature on a record, and he wanted to feature on a record, and it was titled Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And the hook was coming to my Lamborghini. I was like, my verse was like, I may not have a Lamborghini, but we still gonna have fun. Like, yeah. The moment I realized that my life had to be inspired by my life, I stuck to that.
Yo, I love that. And what would you say has been one of your most memorable moments in your career or life?
Plenty moments. I've had one in South Africa. I've had one in Texas. I've had another in Austin, Texas. I had a lot in Nigeria. Like I've just had a lot of memories from this. Yeah, and it's weird too. Like I've met somebody who was trying to shake my hands, and he literally was vibrating all over.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but then again, he's a grown man, so it was a bit like, and of course, societal conditioning in my head. Like, man, calm down. Like, oh, a woman can scream and shake her. I get it, but that was weird. Memorable ones, awards that I've won: New York, Lagos. I have a lot I'm grateful for. I swear, I have a lot I'm grateful for. So I can't pick just one.
That's great. That's great. And how would you say that the failures you've experienced in your life, how have they propelled you to the success that you've attained thus far?
You know, that's a very interesting question. To think about it now, I realize that most times when you fail, after you fail, you realize why you failed. I think, oh yes, I was making a record for a book that's being written. There's an Atlanta where there's a book that's been written, and we're making music to that as well. And it's about obedience. And I think he was talking about Africa to the world. That's what they say. When you feel like the Hulk of featherweight, deceive yourself and celebrate. It's okay. If win turn to person, we go win. And if we no win, the lesson we I learned from the win, self now win, flexing on a gym. So like, if win in itself becomes a person, we go win them. And if we no win that guy, the lessons we've learned from not winning him is also a win. So we're flexing on the gym. Don't worry, next time we're beating you.
Nah.
So my failures have just always been like, I also have lyrics about, this is not on the EP. It says, so I believe myself that I won't deny the sun on my face from a true blue sky. Cloud move about in a few sighs. Knowing in my heart that I too do cry when the stress has been stressing. I mean, before it was a lesson. But you see, my pride is too much to suck the dick of any person. So I'm aware that it hurts when you go through failure, right? So I admit that I too do cry when the stress has been stressing. I mean, before it was a lesson. After it becomes a lesson, that's the value. So I
Yeah.
admit that I'm not trying to oversimplify things and go, oh, that, I just, no. I know failure. I recognize the strength of after I failed, but I'm also aware that within the failure, it's hell.
I study philosophy for my A levels, yeah. But I'm reading this book called The Power of Now by Eckhart
Yeah.
Tolle. Yo, that book has transcended my mind to like another level. It just talks about being present and how, yeah, I'll share it with you after, but The Power of Now, if you haven't already read it, yo, it is so deep. But yeah, master yourself. Please continue.
Yeah. Yeah. However, so if you're able to master yourself in bringing that as a solution to maybe cautioning what you cited as a problem earlier, which is like foreigners or foreign hands coming in and claiming ownership of what is ours. One of the most beautiful ideas that I think Africa is blessed with is our mode of passing down information. It's it's in the energy and the life force of us. It's not just symbolized alone somewhere. So the value of Afrobeat is beyond the tag Afrobeat or rap Afrobeat or African music. It's in the spirit of the performer as well. So Justice Timberlake's record, Cry Me a River.
Yeah.
So at the end of it, there was something he did that people would refer to. They would normally refer to that as the Arabian scale, where he went cry me, cry me, cry me, cry me, cry me a river. Yeah, but in Urobo, there is a style of singing like that is kind of like close to how Fuji people sing. So it's called Arabian scales because Arabians are known, most likely, like Northern Africa, to have da 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 type of
Yeah.
notes. It only makes sense that as only King Gwasio and Masha can be King Gwasio and Masha. No worry
It's
yourself.
true.
If Oyinbo like make copy everything.
I hear you.
But I'm saying let's be confident enough to stamp it and say, see, guy, I don't care what you call rap where you're from. You're Yoruba now. The most antiquated, the oldest form of rap that I, not by personal knowledge, but by just encounter and acquaintance. The closest thing to rap of now in our ancestry is the Yoruba Ewi. I know of the Yoruba Ewi because I've experienced it so much as a kid, watching movies, at events. We'll attend royal events, and you see somebody will come and do stuff that, if I translated that into English, it will be the guy saying, "Oh my king, thou art the greatest in the ring. Thou art the shinest of all blings. Oh, your praises I will sing." That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So when he about me, like pretty much he's putting words together to entertain, and his niche is VIP audience. Not everybody can afford an Elewi. Right? So if I trace all that to who I am, I guess my foundation in rap would arguably be stronger than my knowledge in Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no matter what, once we master ourselves, and I also accept that I've been influenced by Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that. But you're owning
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yes. See, rap Afrobeats is rap and Afrobeat. It's fine. The same way Afrobeat is Afro and beats.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Genius is genius, but then there will always be influence, even with genius. That's it. Like if it's not a genius influencing you, at least most of our parents influenced us. Right? So the only way for this to happen is for us to start to accept and value our own appropriately and as is.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse tomorrow that, because I've heard Beyonce and Drake maybe say that they're supporting the movement and they've been pushing the movement. It's cool, but we need to own our reality.
Yeah. Yeah, head up. So I don't want to go on for too much longer. I want to ask you, what are you grateful for in life today?
I'm grateful for a lot of things, but I'm grateful for thoughts. I feel like with thoughts comes the appreciation of every other thing that you'll be grateful for. Hence, in traditional Yoruba belief, eni to monuro amokbeda, that is, someone blessed with the gift of deep thought would know exactly how to be thankful in life.
Yeah. I've never thought of that.
So I guess I'm most grateful for thought. Like the fact that I can be overbearing sometimes. I can be over the edge sometimes. But I'm grateful the most for the fact that I can put thought together and be justified in doing so. I'm not saying be right or be wrong. At least I can be just in my thoughts, like in dealing with other people as well. Because it's only thought that helps me understand, for example, that beyond religion that we practice, there's humanity, because within religion, there is imperfection as well, which is part of humanity.
Yeah.
So if I'm grateful for anything in my life, is the ability to be able to think for myself. A lot of times, not every time. I'm influenced as well, but a lot of times I'm grateful that I can spot, I can see things myself, and I can move in the direction of what my life needs because of the gift of thought.
And what would you say has been one of the greatest lessons that you've learned throughout your career?
I think it's weird. I think if I'm going to cite two artists right now that are close to what I'm about to answer with, it will be Alicia Keys and Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill, baby. Yes.
Um, everything is nothing. There's no need to hold on to anything too seriously.
Yeah. Life is not that bad, you know? It's not that serious. Let go.
As in, yeah,
it's not that serious. You can't come back to yourself.
You've been through moments that helped you realize the bad moment. Like you've been through moments that is the reason why you recognize this moment as a bad moment. But then again, after that moment, before this, the interval that led to this, there's been better moments. So you also know that there will be better moments. The only thing that you don't have understanding for on that level would be death.
Yeah.
But every other thing, heartbreak, you eventually move on. Loss of a loved one, you eventually move on. You get fired, you eventually move on. You lose your house. Guy, even if you stay under the bridge, at least you eventually move on, because from down under the bridge, somehow, some way, you come to the self-realization of, I gotta do better. And if you don't, it's also okay, because that's also a lifestyle in today's world.
Yeah, I need to share with you that book, because that book basically teaches us that we don't actually lose anything at all because we don't own anything. The only thing we do own is ourselves, and mastering that self makes us understand that we can't lose anything. But I'll talk to you about that after. Lastly, knowing everything you know now, yeah, you said that you had a lot of anger when you were younger, like you had like not like a troublesome youth, but like it wasn't like the most straightforward. What would you say to the younger Vector?
I said, even the older me don't know what to say to the younger me. Let's be honest with ourselves. Because I could have said, all those times that you traveled to America, I should have stayed back. White Oyibo police, they keep black men. Right? I could have said, like, just about my life. But in general, what I had said to myself younger is, I think I should have had stronger faith when I was younger. Like, I was so misled by African norms or African societal norms that I didn't see that no matter how unpopular, there's always a purpose.
Yeah.
So I probably would be saying to my younger self that Alaye Farabale, believe, like, you are right. A lot of times I felt like I was wrong because, for example, I was told as a younger person, like, why are you rapping in English? Are you not Yoruba? And everything. And I'm like, wait now, but they sent all of us to school now. You go there to go become Olodu. I tire for you. So I guess I would have fortified my mental stamina then with those things, because the impressions kind of like hit, but I'm also grateful that I broke out of it early.
Yeah.
One of the things I did also was stop reading books.
You stopped. Don't worry. Don't worry. Ginger you. After this, I'm gonna ginger the books I've been reading. Maddie, my mind has gone to a different level. I feel like I've alleviated. You know when someone says enlightened?
Yeah.
Knowledge is good. It's good. I'll bust you.
But this is it. What I advise people is, there is nothing anybody wants to tell you that you do not already know. See, it's not in the field of sciences or like professional courses that you have to take. I'm saying in the idea that we're reading to better ourselves, right? I feel like, maybe because I'm a creative and I'm a writer, I feel like it may work for you, but for me, I feel like the greatest value in what I knew would mostly depend on the acquaintances I experienced.
Okay.
So it's also an acquaintance to experience a book.
Knowledge, yeah.
But it's just also according to another man's description of what the experience truly is.
Yeah.
Right? Which is okay. It's okay. But I felt like I want to take myself on a journey where I'd look at life, I'd look at my life, I'd look at my experiences, my conversations, and see if, because that's the only way to see God. You can experience that in books, but I paused for a minute because I feel like I can read and write already.
Yeah.
I can calculate already. I can logically reason already. It's time to apply everything I've been learning all these years personally in my life, bearing in mind that everybody has the right to do the same. So if I meet you and my way is wrong, if it's to you, then that's fine. That is wrong. But to me, so getting to this point, I feel like by the time I read books and I say, okay, nothing, I was born not attached to any of my siblings. Like I naturally was not, like I was having a conversation with my other brother. He's a DJ in South Africa now. And he was agreeing to that. I was never attached to anybody like, oh, my brother, my sister.
Yeah.
I was born that way. So, and he helped me. I learned in school. I dealt with people. We had conversations. But in knowing the self, nobody can advise you about the self. But in encountering what other people have written or people are saying, in a way, if anything, that's you allowing God to validate what you already know.
But I don't think it's you seeking to get validation of things that you already know. I feel like everybody's encounter with external knowledge is going to be different. So what you take from it and how you respond or react to the information that you are being that you are receiving is due to the self. So the way in which I take the power of now is not the way in which you're going to take the power of now. And I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's the beauty of it. You acquiring, someone's perspective on something, seeing certain things that you can, identify with, and then taking that information and propelling.
That's fire. That's beautiful. I read so many theses and
philosophy, right?
Yes. And at a point, I was just like, but this life is for the living, or how I choose to live it is. So I approached the professor and I was like, how do you really know what you know? He says, what you know is that which you are acquainted with. What you can really say you know is that which you are acquainted with. So, for example, you may be acquainted with the idea of the Eiffel Tower, But if you've never really been in front of it, you're not acquainted with the Eiffel Tower as you and the Eiffel Tower, but you're acquainted of an idea that exists as such. So now that idea can be remixed into any other thing, but it'll still be the Eiffel Tower. So in some books, it can be rusty brown. In some other books, it can be orange. It can be painted the proud colors of France. That's fine, right? But I know that the ultimate understanding of the Eiffel Tower is in going to France, booking a ticket, and going to the Eiffel
and seeing
Tower.
it.
Boom. So, like I said, no knowledge is wasted. I agree. No knowledge is wasted. I agree that books are interesting and they open us to a world of other people, especially like what then is the value of when I write a book if I don't support such a culture? I support the culture. I just took a break from that as a means of, I would rather engaging the book culture as a means of expressing what I've seen. So I'm dedicating myself into the scene, right? And okay, it's okay to read, but that guy he's Ojoro now, he has seen it, he's not writing about it. No, let me go and see it.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't need to be, I want my spirit to be its full self. Like I want to wake up by myself and go to the palace in Ondo and find out information about myself. Like nobody told me about a meteor landing in Nigeria. And guess what? What looks like a meteor crash site, the Ondo State Police is telling us that it is dynamite. So if you read the newspapers, your knowledge of the crater-like opening in the grounds in Ondo State would be
what
dynamite.
You read.
Yes, it'll be dynamite. So this is me acknowledging the fact that the reading culture is a beautiful one, but then the experiencing culture must also be encouraged, because the only value that has is in tourism.
No, there is a very experiencing things for yourself physically, emotionally, all of that stuff is very imperative. And I feel like if you have them on both sides or one more than the other at different stages in your life, it'll be good for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm this person because I've experienced reading books. I've learned from books: English, math, geography, agricultural science, biology. I used to be a geek with all those things. But by myself, upon realizing that a lot of things are vanity and catch cruise, the original African way of life is the ultimate goal of the Western ideology of living. Peace of mind.
So I just have to wait for that to be processed in my brain.
The original African way of life is what we struggle in the metropolis and urban understanding to be able to live like wake up, sleep, have sex, go to the farm, harvest what you want to eat, which is organic, by the way. No cancer, whatever it is. I don't know if there's cancer in natural things, but like the lifespan of people who live that way is longer. We all don't want to die. We all take supplements just to keep things going and blah, blah, blah. Skincare routine and all these things. Whereas we're coming from a tradition of you can't even be worried about summer body because you're walking it's cardio to the farm, it is cardio farming, it's cardio back home. But then again, it is also healthy food that is not processed or chemicalized. So if we look at what all of us are looking for with gaining more knowledge and blah, blah, it's just to be able to say, I know myself.
100. 100. I love that, man. I feel like we've had such a profound conversation, and I'm sure we can go on and go on and go, but we're not going to do that. Guys, I hope that you've got to know Vector the Viper a little bit better. I can see that he's very profound in the brain, as in like A1. Make sure you follow him at Vector the Viper. Follow at DATV because that's where this cool stuff is. And of course, follow me, Bissy Atkins, because I'm the girl that you want to see. And I thoroughly, I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed this. Obviously, keep it locked. Obviously, I'm Bissy Atkins. Vector, thank you so much for being here and speaking so much Wise words for everyone to hear. Yeah, I hope you loved the interview too.
Oh yeah, it was interesting. I like the fact that you're natural. It wasn't. Where do you not? So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
You know, when people ask me that, I'm just like, yeah, bunda. No, yeah, but yeah, I love that. Thank you, man. Thank you so
I
much.
had fun. It was easy. It
Yeah,
was very natural. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.